The family group chat hit 126 messages while I was under a crawlspace swapping a corroded condenser. I slid out, dust in my hair, as my phone pinged. Final plan for tonight! Party popper. There was a Google Doc and beneath it, Mom's message. Noah, since you're so handy, could you be on ice/trash/detail? Bring your van, lots to carry. Not. Come celebrate your brother. Not even. Please. Just a task list. I opened the document color-coded. Miles, guest of honor. Dad, toasts. MOM, seating chart. Aunt Marla, slideshow. Noah, ice runs. Trash. Fix patio string lights again. Early arrival 4 p.m. Wear black, staff. Wear black, like I was bussing tables at my own family. Miles, my younger brother, golden child since conception, just landed a marketing job. The announcement got 3 paragraphs and 12 gold hearts. When I posted last month that I'd taken on 2 apprentices at my HVAC outfit, Mom replied, "Proud of you for keeping busy." Which is Mom code for, "Don't scratch the table." I stared at, "Wear black, staff," until the words fuzzed. Then I scrolled. The chat was pure confetti. Remember when Miles won the 3rd grade spelling bee? He's always been special. A video of him as a toddler banging a wooden spoon while Dad narrated like David Attenborough discovering a rare bird. I typed, "What exactly is tonight?" Mom answered, "A little family dinner to toast Miles's new job." Keep this on the DL, he's shy, smiling face with smiling eyes. I was halfway into typing a boundary when Dad chimed in. "No drama. Everyone do what's right." That's his favorite phrase because it fits any shape he needs it to. My apprentice Mateo poked his head into the van. "Everything good, boss?" "Family event," I said. "I've been promoted to janitor." On the way home, a second doc arrived. Speech ideas for Dad, we all had memories. It was a shrine in bullet points. Miles's courage applying out of state. Miles getting straight A's. Miles teaching Noah to ride a bike he didn't. And my favorite, from Aunt Marla, Miles is humble. He never brags. The man has a LinkedIn post for drinking water. I parked outside my apartment and let the van take cool. Staff. Blinked neon in my head. I thought about every little dinner, where my name was an afterthought and my hands were a forethought. The "we're proud you're you" speech that sounds supportive until you hear the ellipsis. I opened notes and started a file. Boundaries for tonight. Bullet 1. No black clothes. Bullet 2. Bring a gift for me. I typed that and laughed, then didn't. Bullet 3. If they hand me a bag of trash, I hand them a bag of truth. At 4 on the dot, my phone rang. Mom. Hey, sweetie. Quick favor, can you swing by and fix the patio lights before guests arrive? Miles wants the backyard perfect for photos. Oh. And pick up 10 bags of ice? You're so good at lifting. I am, I said. At lifting ceilings. Silence. Don't be difficult, Noah. Dad cut in on speaker. This is family. Be a team player. I looked at the note again. I thought about Mateo calling me boss, about 2 apprentices who count on me, about my hands that replaced water heaters at 3 a.m., and built something out of no one's applause. I took a breath that tasted like dust and a little like freedom. I'll be there at 7, I said, as a guest. Another silence, longer. Then Mom rallied. Okay. But if you're late, could you at least? 7, I said, and hung up before she assigned me a mop bucket. I spent the next hour cleaning up and choosing a shirt that was definitely not black. I ironed it like it could press out a decade of being the backup plan. On my way out, I grabbed something from my desk, a small cream envelope with thick paper inside. It wasn't a gift for Miles. It was a reservation. For me. And it said exactly where I'd be sitting tonight, at my table. At 7:03 I pulled up to my parents' house in a navy shirt that could not be mistaken for staff black. The driveway looked like a dealership reunion. The backyard glowed like Pinterest had blown a fuse, string lights, working, I noted, gold balloons that spelled Miles, and a grazing table so extravagant it needed a building permit. I stepped through the side gate with a bottle of sparkling cider because if I brought wine, Dad would say I was trying to make it about me. Mom clocked me. Smile, hug, inventory. Hi, sweetie. Great, can you set dessert candles? And the coolers are low, could you? I'm a guest, Mom, I said. Point me to the guest drinks. Her smile fluttered. Of course. Guest drinks. She pointed to the same cooler she wanted me to refill. I fished out a seltzer and stayed standing. People assign you less if you don't look assignable. Aunt Marla swooped in with a camera. Noah! We could use your muscles for the 8x10 frame. Guest muscles are on break, I said. Try the golden ones. She blinked, then laughed like we'd shared a joke. Miles arrived on a wave of applause. Cream sweater, trust fund fibers. Dad tapped a glass. To my son, he said, voice warm with electricity he only finds for one outlet. The kid who always knew where he was headed. I didn't smile. He pivoted. And to Noah, he added, the way you might add cilantro to a plate you already plated. Who keeps busy? Polite ripple. In Aunt Marla's slideshow, there was one photo of me and Miles, me holding the bike seat, him wobbling. The caption read, Miles teaches Noah balance red heart. I almost choked on my seltzer. I placed my cream envelope on the bar where Mom would see it. She didn't. The congratulations swarm made a hive around Miles. To his credit, he crossed the patio and hugged me. Hey man, he said. Thanks for helping with everything. I didn't, I said. And I won't. He blinked. Oh. Okay. Cool. I talked with Cousin Becca about her nursing shifts, with Grandpa about Philly's scores. I began to believe I might make it through without a trash bag when Mom slid beside me, whispering like we were in a library. Sweetie, just 2 quick things. Light the dessert candles and take out the kitchen bag. It smells. Guests shouldn't have to. Guests won't, I said. That's the point. Her smile sharpened. Noah. Don't be difficult. Do what's right. There it was, the family PIN code. I took out my phone. Background image, my shop's first invoice framed. I didn't raise my voice. I'm here at 7 as a guest. That's my boundary. If you keep treating me like staff, I'll head to my reservation and you'll have one less set of helpful hands to not thank later. Reservation? She repeated, like I'd confessed to arson. I tapped the envelope. In there. She opened it. Inside, a thick card from the bistro on Maple. Reservation for Noah. Time, 8:30 p.m. Under it, a place card I'd had printed, Noah, guest. The patio sounds dulled. Mom looked smaller. Not meaner, just the size of her choices. Of course, she said, pasting on a new smile. You're a guest. She tucked the place card under her arm like a receipt she'd pretend not to lose. Then she glanced toward the kitchen. After dessert, could you? I held her gaze. She stopped. Enjoy yourself, she said, and floated away. I slipped the place card back. I wasn't going to trust the arm that almost threw it out. At 8:12, Dad sidled by the grill. If you're thinking of leaving early, he murmured, it'll look bad. If I stay and work, I said, it'll look normal. He snorted. You and your principles. Me and my table. I looked at my watch. The bistro was 5 minutes away. The reservation was a boundary with silverware. I decided to do the most radical thing a scapegoat can do at a family party, nothing. I stood there, empty-handed, and belonged to myself. For once, the night would move around me. At 8:18, the patio looked like a lifestyle blog fought a bonfire. People fanned themselves with paper programs that said Miles and serif. The kitchen thermostat beeped its little cry for help. Through the window I saw 72 set 80 reading. Fans doing their best impression of hope. Aunt Marla waved a camera. Noah! Quick picture of the family. She tried to hand it to me. I'm family, I said, stepping into the frame. Tripod mode. We were 2 minutes into Dad's toast when the AC coughed the way old men clear their throat before telling you what's wrong with the country. Heads turned to me like I was a walking service manual. Dad didn't bother pretending. Noah, pop down and take a look. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Is HVAC for? 3 hours and a part we don't have. I kept my voice even. I'm here as a guest. I don't work off contract at parties. Mom blinked. Off contract? Insurance, I said. If I touch it, your warranty dies and I'm on the hook. I set my business card on the bar next to the dessert forks. If you want my company, we book it properly. Tonight's after-hours rate is on that. Dad scowled. After-hours rate? For family? For emergency service, I said. Same for everyone. I can have my on-call tech here in 20. I texted Mateo one word, stand by. Miles raised his hands. Everyone chill, pun intended. He smiled, actually trying. We can do outside. A murmur crossed the patio. Mom leaned in, whispering like a kettle about to squeal. Sweetie, don't make a scene. Just help your father. I nodded at the cooler. I am helping. I'm not touching what I'm not insured to touch. Dad's jaw set. You love rules when they pay you. I love rules when they keep me from being sued. My phone buzzed. Bistro Maple, your table is ready. Reply hold to delay 15 minutes. The old reflex kicked, give, fix, swallow. I typed hold once. Grace period. 1. Mom's eyes flicked to the phone. Where are you going? To my reservation at 8:30. I said. As previously disclosed. I tapped the cream envelope she'd almost ignored. I'll be back for dessert if dessert doesn't require a tool bag. Dad barked a laugh. You'll eat while your family sweats? I have sweated for this family plenty. I said steady. Graduations, holidays, middle of the night leaks, so guests could complement the roast. Tonight I'm a guest. If you want a technician, call the number on the card, authorize the after-hours rate, and he'll be here. Miles stepped between us, palms out. Dad? Mom? I'll cover it if we call. He looked at me. Is that okay? It landed like a small apology. That's okay, I said. I'll text him go. Dad stared at Miles like betrayal had come dressed in cream knit. We don't pay Noah to do what he should do. Then you won't hire my company, I said, nudging the card toward his hand anyway. Simple. The thermostat beeped again, brave and pathetic. Somewhere in the kitchen, a frosting flower wilted. Grandpa edged up with 2 sweating lemonades. He handed me one. I remember when your father made me fix his first car for love, he said. Interesting how love has a tool list. He raised the cup. Charge what you're worth, kid. My phone buzzed again, hold confirmed. Table releases in 15. I looked at my family, glowing and melting under string lights I didn't hang. I looked at the cream envelope, the place card with my name, ridiculous and regal. I texted Mateo, stand by. If Mom calls, standard after hours. No discounts. He replied with a thumbs up and a penguin with toolbox gif, because my team understands comedy. People kept glancing over, waiting to see if I'd become their fan, their ladder, their free part runner. I did none of those things. At 8:31, I slipped the place card into my pocket and headed for the gate. I was done fighting thermostats I didn't set. Maple Bistro smells like rosemary and real butter, the kind of place that says your name because you booked one for yourself. The host looked at the reservation card I'd printed, smiled, and gestured like I'd accomplished something ceremonial. Table for Noah, she said. Right this way. Window seat. 3 blocks away, the halo of my parents' string lights trembled in the heat. Joining you soon? The server asked as he poured water. Just me, I said. Celebrating a promotion. Not corporate. A raise from unpaid family staff to person. I ordered something with a bone and potatoes that tasted like clouds. I put my phone face down and lasted 9 minutes before the first call, MOM. Decline. Then the group chat flickered. MOM. Where are you? People are asking. Dad. Cake in 10. You're being childish. Aunt Marla. We put your name on a chair, smiling face with smiling eyes, hurry back. Me. At dinner. Enjoy the party. Noah, please cut the cake. Your father's hands are full with the knife for the toast and the... I set the phone down. The server refilled water and left me mercifully unassigned. Unknown number, Mateo. Boss, I'm 2 streets away. They called. I told them the after hours. Your dad said put it on Love. I said Love doesn't clear payroll. Anyone authorize? Not yet. Miles says he will but wants to run it by committee. What committee? The one that runs your life unless you vote no. He said. Do I stay parked? Give it 5. Bill stand by. Another buzz, Miles solo text. Bro, I'll pay. Dad's being weird. Me. Appreciate it. No rush. I'm eating clouds. He sent confusion. I sent potato pick. Then, you deserve your night. I just deserve a seat. Thumbs up back. Not dismissive, lights switching on. Dessert from the bistro appeared uninvited. Compliments of the kitchen, the server said. A tiny cake with a candle. Tag. Congratulations, Noah. I didn't correct him. I blew it out slow, like I had time. The swarm resumed. Grandpa tripped on an extension cord trying to find a fan. Dad. This is on you. Me. No. It isn't. Everyone is sweating. Do what's right. Do what's right. Has always meant. Do what we want. Funny how the right thing never rotates. I texted Mateo. If Miles authorizes, full diagnostic. If Dad authorizes, double deposit up front. Penguin with toolbox gif came back. My team respects comedy. The server asked if I wanted coffee. Black. I said. Tonight I could stain my own teeth on my own time. At 9:02 Miles called. No excuse. Approved. He said. Put it on me. Dad can reimburse if he figures out receipts. We'll email the invoice. I said. Thanks. You leaving because of me? I'm eating because of me. When I paid, the server tucked a handwritten note by the check. We love having you here, Noah. Bring whoever you want next time. Or don't. I snapped a picture and sent it to the family chat. Me. Found my seat. I'll be back for dessert if dessert is celebration, not assignment. Dad. You always make it about you. Grandpa, accidentally to the whole thread. Good for you, kid. The table beside me sang for someone else. I lifted my coffee to the ductwork and to everyone who learned not to mistake competence for obligation. On the sidewalk, the night finally had a little breeze. One more ping. Mateo. On site. Capacitor. Easy. Miles approved. Your mom tried to pay me with meatballs. Me. Tell her Love doesn't cover parts. Him. Already did. I got back at 9:20 with that Luceland calm you get after a good dinner and a decision you didn't bargain back on. The backyard sounded happier, the condenser hummed, frosting roses stood again. Mateo was packing his bag on the side path. We fist bumped. Capacitor, he said. Miles signed. Emailing invoice. You're a saint. I'm an hourly saint, he said, nodding patio ward. Heads up, dad-shaped thundercloud. Dad didn't make me wait. So you sent your guy to gouge us, he said, voice low enough to look polite and loud enough to be heard. He came when called, I said. After hours rate. Same as everyone. Mom slid in, smile glued. We're just glad it's cool again. Dessert in 5. Noah, you can light the candles now. Guess, I said. She swallowed. Right. Of course. Aunt Marla appeared. Noah, can you hold the cake at shoulder height? You have the arms. I also have a chair, I said, and set my place card at the main table next to Grandpa. He read it, grinned, and patted the seat. Found your spot, he said. About time. When the lights dimmed for cake, Dad tapped a glass. A toast, he said. To Miles, who's always made us proud. He turned toward me like a motion sensor. And to Noah, who keeps the trains running. I sipped seltzer. Mom pressed the lighter into my palm anyway. Grandpa cleared his throat. Let the guest be a guest, he said. Miles surprised me. He took the lighter from Mom. I'll do it. He set candles, added a random one, and blew. Cheers, then plates. Mom leaned over, whispering, After cake, could you help with trash? It'll go faster with your van. There it was, the reflex disguised as logistics. I set my fork down. Here's what I can do tonight, I said. Eat cake. Say congratulations. Go home. Dad chuckled without humor. You used to be the reliable one. I still am, I said. I reliably show up where I'm invited, and I reliably send invoices when I'm hired. He bristled. Family shouldn't be transactional. I nodded at the slideshow. Then why am I only family when there's work? He opened his mouth, closed it, then shrugged like a man bargaining with a vending machine. Miles stepped in, soft but clear. I called the tech. I approved the rate. I'll pay. It was my party. Dad stared at him. We don't need. We did, Miles said, nodding toward the humming unit. He looked at me. Thanks for coming. As a guest. It wasn't an apology, not yet. It was the right nouns. Mom tried once more, voice sugared. People are going to the fire pit. Could you bring the folding chairs? You know where we store. I slid my plate toward the center, stood, and put my place card on top like a flag. I'm stepping out, I said. Long day. Early? Dad demanded. You can't leave before cleanup. That's the point, I said. I thanked Aunt Marla for the photos I hadn't taken, hugged Grandpa, told Miles. Congratulations, and headed for the gate. On the way, my phone buzzed, email from Mateo. Invoice number 1983, after hours diagnostic and repair. I forwarded it to Miles and, because old muscle memory is hard to kill, CC'd Mom. Back in the van, I looked at my hands on the wheel. Same hands that used to carry folding chairs and trash bags and the weight of being grateful to be included adjacent. Tonight they were empty, and I was still included, just not employed. As I pulled away, the family chat lit. Dad. Noah left before cleanup. He had a long day. Aunt Marla. He looked peaceful. Grandpa. He looked like a guest. I said nothing. Silence wasn't surrender anymore. It was a boundary with its feet up. At the first light, I texted Mateo. Add a thank you line to the invoice, thanks for choosing us. He replied. Done. Also, your dad asked about a family rate. I said yes, same as the rate families pay. I laughed alone in the van and didn't feel lonely. I felt seated. You know that morning after quiet when a houseplant looks at you like, well? My apartment felt like that. I made coffee, propped my phone against the sugar canister, and let the family thread load its post-party confetti. Photos! 100 of them. Miles mid-toast, Dad beaming, and Marla's slideshow screen captured 6 times. I found myself at the edge of frames, half-shoulders and blurred hands, like a ghost that learned better manners. Dad, invoice is ridiculous. Miles, I approved it. Dad, that's not the point. Grandpa, good night. Good air. Then a voicemail from Mom. Noah, call me. Last night, you made me look bad. There was a time I'd sprint to fix. Looking bad. Like I kept a spare face in the van. Today I texted back. Next time, invite me with a seat, not a job. If you need HVAC, book the company. If you need a son, set a place. At 10, the bell over Dottie's diner jingled. Miles had asked to meet. Somewhere neutral. Which is sibling for. No referees. He was already in a booth. I brought cash for the invoice. He blurted when I slid in. Half in 20s, the rest a crumpled check. I told Dad he can pay me back if love prints money. I'll have Mateo email a link, I said. You don't have to be the bank. He pushed the envelope anyway. Let me be the bridge. We sat with a silence that has weight but not teeth. He spoke first. I didn't see it. Or I pretended not to. The lists. The you're so good at lifting. The Noah can handle it. He traced a coffee ring. Feels different when your AC dies and the person who fixes it says, I have a life. You do too, I said. Even if Dad has a slideshow proving otherwise. He huffed a laugh. I'm sorry, he said, small and real. For my part. For walking to the front of a line you were holding up. That helps, I said. The fixing part? That's on them. He nodded. Then this is me fixing me. I'll run events I host with actual invitations. No more assignments for Noah. If Mom sends a task list, I'll send it back. Don't be dramatic, I said deadpan. We grinned. The server slid in pancakes like a peace treaty. My phone buzzed. Hi, is this Noah from Forge and Flow HVAC? I'm Lila, the florist from last night. I grabbed your card by the forks. I manage a small event space on Maple. Our maintenance guy ghosted us. Could we talk about a seasonal contract? Absolutely, I said, and wrote down a time that was not. Immediately. After pancakes, we walked into a day that had decided to behave. You going to the house later? Miles asked. Mom's making lasagna to make up for the heat. I'm working, I said. Also, no. He didn't argue. Hey, was there ever a thing you wanted Dad to say that he never did? Not really, I said. I just wanted him to stop assigning me a job every time he said my name. He nodded. I'll talk to them, he said, and for once it sounded like he meant 2, not 4. Back home, I taped my place card to the fridge. Noah guessed. A magnet beside it held my first business license, curling at the corner. I took a photo and sent it to the thread. Me. Here's my status going forward. If you want to change it, send an invitation, not a task. Don't be petty. Grandpa. Looks like a good fridge. Dad. You think you're better than us now. I opened my laptop. Mateo had already posted a time-lapse of the capacitor swap. Emergency calls deserve emergency pay. Boundaries keep businesses alive. I clicked like, shared, and didn't apologize to air. At noon, voicemail again. Mom, softer. It wasn't the same without you. You know how your father gets. You know how I get. Just, next time, be flexible. I wrote a reply, deleted it, wrote another. Sent. I was flexible for years. I'm done bending into furniture. I half expected fireworks. Nothing happened. The plant kept being green. Sometimes the drama only exists when you agree to play your assigned part. Monday I met Lila at Maple, a brick event space with tall windows. We host small weddings, showers, retirements, she said. Our maintenance guy left for a band tour. Can you take us on? Seasonal contract. Clear rates. No, my cousin will fix it for exposure. That last clause is my love language, I said. We walked the ductwork. I snapped cereals, set expectations. No off hours without authorization, I said. No exceptions. Not even for meatballs. She grinned like she knew exactly who. Deal. We signed under a string light that wasn't my problem. Her phone dinged. New booking. Patel, retirement brunch Sunday. My parents, I said. She winced. Conflict of interest? Only if you asked me to bus tables. Never, she said. We'll have your company on call. You want it, or should I put your tech? Put my tech, I said. I'll be elsewhere. Back at the shop, Mateo labeled a bin. Things people think are free. He tucked the failed capacitor box in like a trophy. Contracts in, he called. Looks like rent money, not meatballs. Frame it next to our first invoice, I said. The group chat popped at noon. Family brunch Sunday to celebrate my retirement. Noah, bring folding tables and come early to set up the photo backdrop. Wear black, sleek. Me. Send an invitation, not a job. Dad, it's family. Don't make it weird. Miles, I'll handle setup. Invite Noah like a guest. A photo from Mom followed, a cream card. Patel retirement brunch. Under honored guests. My name printed. I RSVP'd, arriving at noon as a guest. I am not your AV team. Dad, don't bring attitude. Grandpa, bring the guest card. Mid-afternoon, the bell rang. Grandpa came in with a brown bag and pulled out a brass level. Your great-grandfather set windows with this, he said. Figured you could keep other things straight. It weighed like a sentence with a period. Thanks. He looked around the shop. You built this, he said, not as praise as fact. Remember that when someone tries to rent you for free. I mounted the level above the bench. Beneath it, the place card glowed. Email. Patel Brunch, vendor day of packet. Lila had CC'd my company. On-call Forge and Flow HVAC. Authorization Miles Patel. A minute later, Mom. Since you'll be at Maple anyway, could you check their patio heater? Lila said it's finicky. It'd be so helpful. If Maple wants service. I wrote. Maple will open a ticket through our portal. Guests don't crawl behind bars. Miles, I'll make sure they use the portal. At 5, Lila texted. Walk through with your mom. She asked for a friends and family discount and pointed at the ceiling like there was a sign. I pointed at the contract. Thanks. I wrote. Sunday came. I ironed the navy shirt, slipped the place card into my wallet, touched the brass level like a superstition, and headed to a brunch where my last name wouldn't be a punch list. On the way. We forgot ice. Can you swing by? Me. See you at noon. Dad. Be useful. Grandpa. Be seated. I turned onto Maple and parked. Outside, a white sandwich board read, Welcome guests. For once, I qualified without an asterisk. I took out my wallet, checked the cream card, and walked in on time, empty-handed, steady, and unassigned. Maple was sunlight. A chalkboard said welcome, guests, and, for once, the word fit. Hi, Noah, Lila said. You're on the guest list. A tent card waited on a linen runner. I picked it up, Noah guessed. I set it at a table, not the edge. Mom arrived with a hug and a chore. Sweetie, could you bring? I'm here, I said and sat. She chose the hug. Dad tried the old password. Do what's right. I am, I said. Miles tapped the mic. To Mom, he said, and to the people who keep lights on. Also, to contracts and invitations, love and writing. Lila lifted a discreet thumbs up. The AC gave a nervous cough. Heads tilted my way. I nodded at the on-call number taped beside the bar. Mateo, in a clean polo, raised his phone like a referee, ready but unneeded. We kept eating. Photos time. Aunt Marla tried to hand me the camera. I stepped into the frame. A stranger took the shot. Miles, Mom, Dad, Grandpa, and me, arms not full of chairs. Cake with sparklers. I said. Congratulations. Clinked Grandpa's fork, and didn't bust a single plate. When people rose to tidy, I hugged my mother, shook my father's hand, and left my place card face down on the linen like a calling card. Outside, the day was level and bright. Back home, I slid that card under the brass level above my bench and snapped one last photo. For me, not the chat. Caption. Not staff. Guest. And for once, the house didn't argue.